Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. I just got back from vacation and while I was away, the Pokemon company decided to drop some massive news. Perfect timing, really. Honestly, it was probably a good thing because it gave me some time to reflect some on these changes. Some of them is good news, some of it is actually bad news. Some of it's actually just neutral. So a lot of interesting changes. They're doing away with yellow borders. They're standardizing the set releases. They're finally making sense of rare, ultra rares, secret rares, and all that when it comes to the English side. So some of it is good news, but there are some stuff in here that I think is important for you to recognize and digest. So let's go over some of the big changes that's happening to the Pokemon card scene, starting with Scarlet and Violet. You probably already heard the big news across social media, but the big one is that starting after Crown Zenith, we will no longer get yellow bordered Pokemon cards on the international side. They will be gray, just like the Japanese side. So that's probably a good thing. The yellow borders were really a relic of the Wizard of the Coast era of Pokemon cards, and the silver and gray borders just make a lot more sense. We already have a lot of gray border Pokemon cards on the English side with things like full art trainers, ultra rares, and stuff like that. They've done different borders beside the yellow borders in the past, so it just makes sense for them to standardize the borders. It doesn't really make sense for the two scenes to have different types of design between the Pokemon cards. It makes it a lot easier for them. You probably won't even notice it that much. The cards completely look fine with gray borders. I barely notice it. It just isn't a big issue for me. It definitely does look better with the gray borders, but that's it. We're done with yellow borders. Never seeing them again. Crown Zenith is the last Pokemon card set with yellow borders. The other big quality of life change is that they're standardizing the sets. In the past, pretty much if you wanted to know what Pokemon card set you're looking at, you pretty much have to figure out the set design art on the bottom corner of the Pokemon card. And if you don't know what set that design is, you're pretty much out of luck. So it's a lot easier now. They're just gonna do Scarlet and Violet 1, Scarlet and Violet 2. So you really get an easy understanding of what Pokemon card set you're opening, what release schedule they're on. A lot of it is just easier and makes a ton of sense. The rarity symbols are going to match the Japanese side. So regular rares will just be a star. Ultra rares will have 2 stars. I'm not too sure if they're going to do anything special for secret rares yet, but it makes it a lot easier to understand the different rarities. Pretty much in the past, anything that was a rare or higher just had a symbol star, which doesn't make a lot of sense. We pretty much called them ultra rares, secret rares, hyper rares, even in the past, even though they all pretty much had the exact same rarity symbol. So now it's a lot clearer, the distinction and separation between the regular holo rares and the ultra rares. Added to that change, the Pokemon company is also raising prices on booster packs. This is actually the bad news. Booster packs are moving from a $3.99 MSRP to a $4.49 MSRP. So this was actually something I completely expected. Booster packs have gone up in price, and that's just a part of inflation. The Pokemon company is doing some stuff to adjust for this. They're making sure that every single booster pack from now on will contain at least 3 holos, and there's different ways you can interpret this. We are probably still going to have holographic reverses. Those are probably considered one of the 3 holos, and all future rare cards will be holographic. There will no longer be non-holographic rare cards. Does this really improve booster packs? I'm skeptical. It seems like good news, but to me this just seems like making rares to be more bulk cards. Rares used to be special, and adding more rares to booster packs doesn't really make the booster packs that much better. I think it would be better if they make the rares more interesting. With the booster pack change, the Pokemon company is also making some changes to some older product lines like the Elite Trainer boxes. Elite Trainer boxes will now contain an additional booster pack and a promo card. Every single Elite Trainer box will contain a promo card. In the past, Elite Trainer boxes only contained promo cards if they were from special sets like Hidden Fates, Shining Fates, Pokemon Go, but now every single Elite Trainer box will contain 9 booster packs and a promo card. This to me just seems like a simple way to make Elite Trainer boxes $50. If the Pokemon company did not add an additional booster pack, they probably had to sell Elite Trainer boxes at the $45 mark, which is a challenging price point to mark Elite Trainer boxes as. They probably just made it easier to add an additional booster pack and a promo card and charge you $50 for an Elite Trainer box. It just makes sense for them. So is this a good thing? It's a neutral thing. I don't think future Elite Trainer boxes are going to be that special, but the fact that they do contain a promo card is something that I've been asking for a long time. I think Elite Trainer boxes are a great product that we're just missing a little something to make them a lot more desirable, and I think that promo card is it. Will the raised prices on booster packs make future booster boxes more expensive? Yes, I do think the Pokemon Center will also raise prices on their booster boxes. Booster boxes used to be MSRP'd at around $145. We're probably going to see them closer to $160 in the future for all Scarlet and Violet sets and outward. So it's going to be interesting to see how the secondary market look. I think the secondary market is still really tight when it comes to booster boxes being at $100. You've probably seen a lot of older sets go for right around $100 on the secondary market. It's going to be interesting to see if they go for $110 or $120 after this change, because the Pokemon company is probably going to charge game stores more for future products. So those extra charges are going to go back to the customers, raising their own prices for future products. But it's a secondary market. It's completely a different beast. It's going to be interesting to see how that settle out. The last minor quality of life change is that energy cards have gotten a redesign. In the past, every single basic energy card simply said energy, and you had to look at the whole entire design of the card to really understand what type of energy it is. In the future, with Scarlet and Violet, basic energy cards are going to be a lot more clear. Pretty much they went from saying just energy to saying basic energy, energy, basic grass energy, or basic fire energy. It's just going from not enough text to almost too much text. Personally, I think the fact that it says the word energy 3 times on the card is just poor designing, and hopefully they can make it even more simplified in the future. The last big piece of news is that the Scarlet and Violet base set has been revealed. We have some very clear pictures of the upcoming Pokemon cards, and I have mixed feelings about them. I want to be excited, but these cards, I would say, look a little bit dated at release right away, which is kind of a problem. Starting with Scarlet and Violet, you're going to see some lowercase EX Pokemon cards. We have seen lowercase EX Pokemon cards in the past and uppercase EX Pokemon cards in the past. So now we're going back to lowercase EX Pokemon cards. Why? Who really knows? They could be called anything. So I guess we're doing EX lowercase again. One problem I have with the cards are that they pretty much look just like the XY era of ultra rares, where the Pokemon cards are computer generated artworks and they're pretty much just popping out of the border. So right away, as someone who's been collecting Pokemon cards for a while, these cards don't look new to me. They don't look interesting to me. They don't look fresh. They look dated and in a way outdated, just because the XY era Pokemon cards are not really looked that fondly upon. It was considered a boring time for the Pokemon scene. So the fact that we're going back to that era, we're going back to EX Pokemon cards, I don't think this is good news. Perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps the Pokemon company will do some interesting designs with these new EX cards, but we're not really seeing that. I'm seeing a lot of the same. I'm seeing a lot of reuse art. The cards don't look gorgeous. Maybe they can add some texture to the cards. It looks like with the terrestrialization mechanic, they are adding some texture to the cards, and that could help the cards out. But for Scarlet and Violet, the base set is probably going to be kind of generic. But that's how the Pokemon company is for every single base set. for a new era. The cards tend to be some of the more simple ones, and they tend to evolve and add more designs and make it more appealing with each additional set. Look at the Sword and Shield base set, the XY base set, the Sun and Moon base set. Pretty much all of the base sets are kind of boring. They pretty much just feature the basic legendary Pokemons that are the mascot of the set, as well as the starter Pokemon. Those are the two big things that they always tend to feature. But outside of that, it's just an introduction to a new mechanic, which isn't even a new mechanic because we've already seen lowercase EX Pokemon cards. This is just a redesign of it. Am I excited for Scarlet and Violet? I am. There are going to be some interesting stuff here. These are things that I've thought about or have asked for in the past. Adding a promo cards to Elite Trainer boxes, making the border for the Pokemon cards gray, making the set a lot easier to understand on the symbols of the cards and the sets. All of those things are good quality of life changes, but most of these things aren't actually as big of a deal as they seem. In fact, after Scarlet and Violet release, it'll seem like they've always existed. That's how simple some of these changes really are. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. There's definitely some great news on this list. Most of it is just quality of life changes. The additional holo rares is definitely interesting as well. I'm skeptical on whether that will really help the quality of pack openings. I will have to crack open a couple of Scarlet and Violet booster packs to get a better understanding of how 3 holo rares inside of every single booster pack will look. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are, because this is some interesting changes and I would love to hear what you guys are thinking about it. So I will definitely be reading a lot of comments. Leave me a question and I'll be happy to answer it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.